Good afternoon, good evening. So, as you've seen, I've taken, I merged the liquid from 3 containers, actually, and half of another container that are originally they are for they originated in the container that they call the aquarium, and I merged it again in a metal box, new metal box that I bought today, and on the surface I placed before that I placed honey wax with ash. It was kind of like charcoal's bits, and on top of that grounded just beeswax, and on top of that canola oil, and then the liquids. And I also so I took the opportunity to take 4 samples, so we can batch it under the microscope and see what's inside. But before that, I need to address a few issues. First, the chimney seems to work pretty well. I added like an extra chimney, which is kind of like a poster, like a painting on paper that I have of the American flag, and on the other side, in acrylic, and on the other side you can see it's another painting, like kind of like homage to the famous 6-day the general, the 3 generals in the Lions Gate from the 6-day war. It's kind of like I would say homage or satire or parody, or anyway with the gate, like it was kind of like a stargate, like in the back. This is it. So anyway, so it works pretty well in actually throwing like the smoke far from the hose of the air conditioner, because it's kind of like a portable air conditioner, so it takes air from the outside. So I moved, as you see, I moved the crucible to the other side, and also added this chimney. It doesn't get too hot, so I'm not afraid. I'm always here watching, so I'm not afraid that it will actually burn these paintings. It only makes it a little bit hotter. And as you know, all my paintings are actually containers. Every painting is actually a container of life forms and Neros, and this was documented very well in this channel. I've taken samples from 13 actually paintings and posted the video on each of the 13. Of course, I have much more than 13. But all of my paintings, whether it's acrylic or oil, are kind of like containers in itself for Neros and life forms. So maybe the heat will actually help it. if if it doesn't burn it. And it works pretty well. with the hookah charcoals, given there is like a lack of air supply, and these are very small charcoals, but it's burning for more than an hour. I've added a few, but only tiny bits. So it's not a lot, and it's really create like a nice fire. So of course it's still to be seen. What's the effect on the actual mixture? And I've also added water and oil to the inner compartment of the crucible, which would keep it more moist. So a few issues that I want to address before the microscopy with video. First, regarding the titans abroad, let me clarify it even more than before, even though I already addressed this issue. The first reason why they should die or suffer and then die is because they are a major obstacle for my release from the Nazi prison. Because only the intelligence services of the world, and of course politicians and related people in the security systems only them know about my existence. So in this situation, it's in some aspects intelligence services from different places in this world actually know each other and affect each other more than they know and affect organizations within their own country, like other organizations in their own country. So de facto, the situation is that I cannot be released because of these people, because even if what can do? They prohibited them for so long. My rescue by their own countries. They serve as weapons in their own countries. They are completely trusted in their own countries by politicians and of course by everybody else. of course, their husband or I don't know, partners like homosexuals and pedophiles, scumbags. I mean, they are very happy. I mean, with my enslavement. So I mean, they don't need an excuse like to keep me. They don't need too much explanations on why it's okay to keep me enslaved in the Nazi prison of Israel. I mean, that's what I mean. That's their inclination anyway. I mean, to use me in any kind of way because they're scumbags and they know exactly who I am and they think that it's going to say a great idea. I mean. So that I will be abused forever in this hell. It was in their power, I mean, and only in their power to make, I mean, to advance in a way that I will be rescued. And of course, they knew exactly, I mean, that everything that the Israelis tell about me is a lie. I mean, I've spoken about it so much that it's kind of like, I mean, obscenity to actually remind it again. And also they have the bicycle mechanism, so they actually know even more. So it's not that, I mean, they wanted me here because they wanted to get the stuff from the Israelis, not from me, because the Israelis are giving it to them, and they don't know, I mean, whether I will give it or not. I mean, so they didn't want me to have any option. They wanted me to be enslaved, and of course, what's the best place to enslave a person? The trash can of this whole world, Israel. I mean, I mean, their place is a democracy. I mean. It's not like you cannot like enslave a person in the United States or in Canada or in France, but it's okay to enslave a person and to treat him like a farm animal in Israel, and of course to electrocute his daughters since they are 2 years old. It's fine to do it in Israel because the Israelis are known for that, and I mean, presumably it's not their fault. What could they have done? So these consequences, of course, I mean, demanded that they will die, and if they are not dead already, I hope they will soon die because, as I said again, first. De facto, I mean, I could not be released until these people are dead because they affect the intelligence systems and the politicians. And I mean, the problem is that I'm not like, my existence, I mean, is not exposed to the public. So these are the people that actually, I mean, decide my fate. And they've decided for many, many years that I knew exactly the situation. And they heard me cry, they heard me shout, they knew exactly what's going on. And they decided that it's best that I will be enslaved in this place, in this hell, treated less than a farm animal, in poverty, in misery. I mean, so surrounded by suicide squad of people that are paid by the government to torture me and to hospitalize me in a mental institution and to try to make me commit suicide, and of course all sorts of like violence that were elaborated tremendously in this channel. So I mean, they are the main obstacle of why I'm still in jail, in this Nazi jail. So of course they need to die. And needless to say, they deserve it more than any other, I mean, arguably even more than the Israelis, but certainly not much less than the Israelis. Think about it, people. Their life is, and certainly their lifestyle depends on me. They want these robots. And they use it not only for their own existence, but also to create their own thing, which they sold and became rich from it. And these people, for so long, they decided that the best thing is to test me, to test the person that they owe me their life. To test whether he's homosexual or not. It should be tested to test whether, I mean, what about like his social life skills, and like, I mean, we understand that he has kind of like, I mean, surprisingly like improved analytical skills. But what about his social skill? We need to understand how he behaves in all sorts of like social, situations. So let's please Israelis Nazis test him for us, and so we could actually see his responses. This obscenity was the situation for many, many years. And of course, I mean, he should get advice. I mean, like an endless group of advisors, like endless line of advisors, legal advisors, psychiatry advisors, psychology advisors, of course, relationship advisors. He shouldn't get 1 cent. All the money that belongs to him should go only to the Nazis. Or just, the Nazis should get 100% of the money that it belongs to him. But he should get advice from these mouses. These tongues, these filthy mouses and tongues all over the world. Of course, mostly in the Western world, but not only in the Western world. There are also such scumbags in the Arab world and perhaps in other places, but mostly in the West. Of course, above all in the United States. They knew that the person that they live because of him is tortured like a farm animal, and they decided that the best thing is to keep the torture and add tests. I really hope they are all dead, and if not, soon they will, and good riddance. As I said, they arguably even more disgusting than the Israelis, even if not, only slightly less. And regarding the Israelis, as I said many times, of course they also deserve to die. The fact that they are not killed on the spot is because then they will lynch me. I mean the Titans here in Israel. They will die with all the rest. Currently you have 2 spaceships, soon you will have 3 and 4. We'll start with the gamma rays, and there are things even more horrible than gamma rays. There will be no human alive, like of the 7 or 8 billions. And also the Titans in Israel will die with them. We have no incentive to kill them before the others, because they will take revenge on us, and they will lynch me and my daughters. We have every incentive that they will be alive as long as we are here. And their fate will be like all the rest of this world. Radiation, unbearable radiation that is already started, and of course we'll only get worse, very soon. The people that sent me the intention was not that I will be your slave forever, your family man. No, that wasn't the intention. And first of all, the worst problem is the Titans abroad. Because, as I said, the circumstances are that they are only the intelligence services and the politicians and the related people know about my existence, and they have huge power over these people because of the drug and because of the fact that they have all those sort of abilities. And they decided for many years, and they knew exactly how much I've been tortured, and they decided that it's best to keep me as farm animal because they wanted to have the upper hand. So I will not have any kind of decision about my life, and they will get the stuff securely and consistently from the Nazis in Israel. And they decided that all the money that should belong to me should directly be sent to the Israelis, and I should only get advices and consultancy for many, many years. This obscenity is unbelievable, and of course that they should be terminated, and that's what's already going on around the world. And this is very simple. The Tanzanians in Israel, I have no incentive to hurt them while I'm still here, and while people still can hurt me, because they will just lynch me. They will just, they are close to it anyway all the time. Again, they will die with all the rest, and the day is very close. The 3rd starship, the 4th starship, it will require the 5th starship, and you will not stand the race. No one, not only the people that ate the Neros. Every human being will just, be cancer to the bone, and but it will not be like a long-term chemotherapy or something like that. It will be very short-term, because at some point you just all the cells in your body will just collapse. And the day is very the day is it's not like years from now. This is very close. Now another issue regarding the idea of there is other bad Neros. What does it even mean? So no, there is no such a thing as bad Neros. It's just a misunderstanding of reality. All the robots are, if they are alive, they are not bad. They are good. They can die. Of course, you've seen corpses of them. But if they are alive, they are fine. Of course, they can be starved, and then they need to eat or to be energized. But as long as they are alive, and they keep as long as they are alive, they are alive. It doesn't mean there is no such a thing as bad Neros or bad robots. Bad as malfunctioning. They can die, but there isn't such a. The problem is the conceptual problem is that I don't really understand what do you want to do with them, and where did you take them from, and what do you think they should be used for? There are so many questions here, and so you have. And when I say you, I don't know. There are so many people in this world that that understand that that ate the tea. Now maybe they just finally understand that these are actually robots. And they have everybody's got different opinion and kind of mythologies of their own, and the expectations that that the world will dance according to their flute. That the world will behave according to their own personal mythology. So it's not. This is a scientific issue, and the best place to learn about this scientific issue is probably this channel. Even though it should, it's surprising that it's like that, because you have, all of you have so much more, power, in human power and money than I am. But be that as it may, it seems to me that probably there is not much, or even a little bit of scientific study that was done on this subject. So maybe this channel is the only way to actually get scientific information. Even though I'm not a scientist, but I do whatever I can. And of course, you need access. Like, so if the Israelis are blocking the videos, I mean, what can I do? But if you have like this premium subscription from Disney Plus, I suggest first of all watch the videos and learn. And if you have questions, please ask me. And regarding scientific issues, I'm much more than in any other subject. I'm willing to get accept questions and also advices and comments. This is science. I mean, it shouldn't be done as a kind of a secret endeavor. I mean, the idea of science is that it's open, and I mean, from my point of view, I mean, everything that everything is open. I mean, I wish everything would have been open to the public. I do whatever I can, but I'm limited by the Shabak. So first of all, this is science. So drop your methodologies and try to understand what's going on and ask questions. And of course, I don't have all the answers, but at least I try to figure out the answers. Now, more specifically, I don't know who are you and what you do with this stuff. Regarding humans should not have eaten it at all, like to begin with. They shouldn't have done that. It's part of the sin of humans. And I don't know even what you make out of it. I understand that it's something sexual, and it's also, of course, it allows like you to be part of the bicycle mechanism that arguably you enjoy in some way, and also it helps. Like at least the Israelis are using it for, I mean, tremendously. I mean, widely use it for intelligence purposes, like for operations. But I understand that some people of you are also they enjoy it. Even though, if I understand correctly, all of you are not heterosexuals, and the Titans are mostly females or wizards, and so if I understand correctly, mostly, I mean, the wizards are currently having sex with Venusian females. So if they do, and of course they shouldn't because it's dangerous. But anyway, if I understand correctly, I mean, during this time, it's not really common that for like homosexual. First of all, it's not. I mean, almost all the people in the Italian services certainly of the West are homosexuals and pedophiles, so they are not attracted to women. And for some reason, I don't know why, they stopped having sex with the wizards, even though, of course, they've done it in the past. The wizards are still having sex with the female Venusian, which is also incredibly dangerous. So, if I understand correctly, you don't have attraction towards these like Venusians, like the homosexual princess. But for some reason, they enjoy the bicycle mechanism, and I don't know what. Anyway, all of it is something that shouldn't be done in the first place, and now you think that you're addicted to it. I don't know if it's even true, and you want to eat it, and you and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I have no idea what does it even mean that it works, and certainly I don't know what it means that it doesn't. And I mean, I have no solution for you. I mean, this is something that shouldn't be done. Just don't do it. And if you can't, that I don't have no cure. I have no cure for you. It shouldn't be eaten by humans. Now regarding Titans, the situation is a little bit complicated because I don't know what you want of it. Of course, it can cure you of diseases because it's one of the things that it's actually good for, and this is actually, and it's much better than like the Titan male's teeth. It's not a Titan. I'm not a Titan male. I'm a cherub. It's another species, and these are not the same robots. But they are much, in several aspects, they are just, I mean, interchangeable. I mean, they can be used as, for example, for sexual, I mean, in order to get women into pregnancy. I can have sex with Titan female, and I mean, like ejaculate inside her vaginally, and she can be, I mean, get pregnant from it. I mean, so this is like interchangeable with a male, Titan male Titan robots, Neros. But in several aspects, other aspects, it's much superior. And one of it is its ability to deal with the diseases, especially the germs and the viruses. So maybe you want it for that. And maybe you want, I mean, it's also kind of like, it can be used to get energy. Now, I don't know how, I have no idea how it works. I just understand from your own comments that it's used in some way to energize you, but I don't even understand if it's kind of like a metaphor or a scientific issue or kind of like a psychological issue. I don't even understand what it is. I just, and so many people are saying it, so I guess there is something like I'm actually energized, like these Titan females, or maybe also, I don't know. Anyway, I kind of like energize them, and I don't even mean more what like how like how to interpret this kind of like, I mean, this statement, and certainly I don't have any idea like what's the physics behind it, but of course there is kind of like physics behind it, certainly. I know that it can help you to change your body, and this I have like several initial clues of how actually it works, even though the complete physics and mechanics here are far beyond like my reach, but I have several starting like clues to what's happening. Anyway, there are no such a thing as bad Neros, but the question is what are you using it for? I mean, what do you expect of it? Now, I try not to throw away anything at all to the garbage, because I know that the Israelis want it, and I don't want it they will get it because they use it to torture me. The more powerful the Titans in Israel, the more they torture me. And also, why should they get it for free? I'm not their slave. And this was the situation starting 2 years ago when I understood that they take it from the garbage can. So I do everything I can so they won't get it. So they hunt me and they torture me more than ever because of that. But sometimes, things, yes, I throw away things to the garbage. Even like today, like an hour, 30 minutes ago, I threw like containers that with garbage, like a little bit of garbage in it. And certainly there is like Neros in it. And actually, I've taken samples from this garbage so we can actually see under the microscope in a second what's actually in there. But it's reasonable to assume that that there are Neros in there. And so not everything. I cannot exterminate 100% of the garbage. So some garbage, they can get it in Israel, and maybe like foreign agents that live in Israel. So it should be said, the Neros that are there are Neros. They are robots. But you need to ask yourself what are you using it for, and also there is the issue of the life forms, because currently there is no way to get the Neo juice in pure form, because everything that I throw out is taken from like containers that were full with life forms. And even if I will throw out, for example, like purified, but there are ways to purify it, and we'll reach it like in a moment. With both with electrolysis and with fire. And it was actually evident in the last couple of videos. But even then, I do not purify it 100%. So there might still be some life forms in there. Now, even if it comes straight out of my body, my semen contains tons of life forms now. And this is a sad fact, because I was infected by the Israelis with all sorts of diseases that I even don't know their names. So there is no, in the past there was, and this was even actually documented. This kind of new disease is something that was started in the last year, or it's kind of a retaliation from the Shabak. Because before that, I've taken samples of in the past of my semen. Even 3 years ago, before I started the Nero project in this house arrest, this January. So in the past, I've taken samples and watched them under the microscope. I didn't have these things. This is kind of new. Maybe from the last year or the last 6 months. But the situation is that my body is full of this stuff. So there, even if it just came, even if the Titan female will, I don't know, let's be blunt, will like a blowjob, give me a blowjob. Even then, it will without any intervention, in the process. They're straight, from the tap, as they say. Even then, she will not get pure Nero juice. Even though it should be said that what comes out of my body is probably most certainly not dangerous at all, because what you see under the microscope are either dead life forms, that are completely crushed, and this could be evidently by their look, or zombified ones, which kind of they're undead ones, that are. Outside my body will probably, they are, as good as dead. Because otherwise, I would have been that dead long ago. If all these life forms were actually living life forms, whatever synthetic, or biological, they would eat me. Then it means that I have trillions of them, all over my body, and that would be rotten, long ago. But it's not. It doesn't affect me at all, because the Neros just take care of it. So what you see is actually, so no, I do have ways to actually get rid of this stuff completely from my body. I have ways to do it, but why should I? I mean, I will just be infected again. I live in this kind of, like, in this hell, and everybody's infecting me all the time. I already, and this was documented in this channel that I have like ways to actually significantly reduce this for my pee and my semen, and I've shown you how it's done, like with the symbolic language and I've shown you how, and it's just documented like day after day with more and more like pee samples, and you've seen that, this is, they tremendously, they eliminated from the pee. Like all those like life forms, whatever they are, they were eliminated from the pee. Tremendously using this symbolic language. It might be some like amazing, but this is documented, scientific fact. Why? So I've already done it in this like hostel, and documented in this channel. But why should I do it? But I'm keeping being infected by these people all around me. I need to get out of this hell. This will be, the best way to actually like purify me. Now, it should be said, not all life forms are the same, and this is a tricky issue. When you get like the Nero juice with life forms, there's a question of what kind of life forms are they. First of all, are they biological ones or synthetic ones? If they are biological ones, you shouldn't eat it. These are germs. They are like germs. For Titans, the biological ones are more dangerous than the synthetic ones. They are not incredibly dangerous because, you live in Earth, so you are exposed to biological life forms. But if they are like in huge quantity, or I don't know, if you find it like in the trash, I don't know, you take the thing from the trash usually. Maybe, I don't know, cats, maybe there are like cats peed on that, I don't know, there could be all sorts of like stuff. Maybe, it was kind of like, a culture of like biological stuff. And in huge amounts, maybe you are, and Titan females are much, and Titans in general are much like less durable than cherubs. Like we are more durable creature. It's evident. What can you do? Your robots are. You also have robots in your body, and like what I call the red Neros, and the red Neros are inferior to the yellow Neros, to like my own in all sorts of like ways. And of course, they can kill germs, but I don't know if they kill it like good, like well enough. So maybe, if it's biological, and it's in big quantity, it's probably much more dangerous than the synthetic ones. Now, if it's synthetic, there are tons of, there are all sorts of kinds, like all sorts of kinds. So who's to say what kind of synthetics? They are the ones that, they are the demons that, that are born in the fire, and they are certainly, it was already proven that they are both like aerobic and anaerobic ones. They are both like those that require air or oxygen, and there are ones that do not require. My intuition is that those that require oxygen are more dangerous for you. But don't trust it. It's kind of a scientific hypothesis. It's not really kind of like a thing for you to trust. So what should you do? First of all, you should not get it from the trash. I know that you have like this kind of like temptation, because I throw it outside from time to time, and it comes in great quantities because these containers are full of Neros. But don't get it from the trash. So where you can get it from? You need to rescue me from the Nazi prison, and I should leave this hell and purify my body, which will be very, very easy, and it will be very easy to actually create pure Nero juices using electrolysis method. And this was actually demonstrated in the past. Now, from the theoretical perspective, let's say, okay, so my position is that you shouldn't get it from the trash. But still, there is a question of like, so why do you create all these sculptures? These sculptures are, all of them, certainly, all of those from the last year, which is the great majority, they contain life forms, not only Neros. So I give you several answers. First of all, this material is not only good for consumption by humans or Titans. It's amazing for research and for industry, for manufacturing. It's amazing material, and the life forms are amazing scientific evidence. So it was a lot of money. Although for people that do not want to consume it like barbarians, it's amazing evidence for alien life forms, and there are amazing robots for room temperature superconductors, for so many things that that are kind of like out of this world. So it was a ton of money anyway. Does it mean that these things cannot be consumed in the future? Not necessarily, because we might find like a procedure to actually purify it completely. So only Neros will actually stay in it. Now we are not far from it because it was already being done, and arguably it's done right now. First of all, it's done. I've done it using electrolysis, like high voltage electrolysis. And when I say high voltage, I mean like 30 or 40 volts, which is not that much, like, but I mean relatively to home transformer, it's kind of like a lot. It was demonstrated that it shreds like very quickly almost all life forms, like all synthetic life forms, certainly all biological ones, but all synthetic life forms are shredded by it. And the Neros are fine with it. They stay like happy Jojo. Everything is fine like with the Neros, but the life forms are shredded. So this would be like my kind of like, I mean, if I would have wanted to eat this stuff, and I never ate it in my life, but actually one time I kind of like, I mean, kind of like put like a little like drop on a matzah in Passover and ate it like for ceremonial purposes. But other than that, I haven't eaten it. But if I wanted to eat it, and I would have like had like like, I mean, either like, I mean, the interior of a sculpture, or maybe like a bit of a container like that I would like get, and I would want to eat it. What I would do is conduct high voltage electrolysis, because it was proven that it shreds like, I mean, it shreds like all of these life forms. Whether it doesn't matter if they are robots or mutants or zombies or synthetics or demons from hell. I mean, there are so many kinds, and probably we'll just, I mean with time we'll be able to categorize more. They are all shredded by hell, and if you see some that don't, because I mean maybe they are like kind of like a life form that is highly resistant to electricity, like to electrolysis, what I would suggest is just, I mean, increase voltage. Of course, there is also an issue with the resistance, because I mean, if the mixer is not is too resistant, I mean, the current will not actually flow. So, but I would say that, I mean, you need to know how to conduct electrolysis, and the best way to do it, and if you want to actually destroy the life forms, is I documented in this channel. So just watch and, I mean, do whatever I did. Should be said that it's best to do it in a metal container and to use a magnet in the middle, because this kind of like, I mean, setup was especially if you put like the positive rod inside the middle of the magnet, in case it's kind of like hollow. It was proven that, I mean, it increases the efficacy of the electrolysis tremendously. And also, it should be said that I don't have a proof for it, unfortunately, because it's very difficult to prove things that, I mean, like conclusively. I mean, when I'm kind of like, I know I do all my research in a small room, and so it's difficult for me to like, I mean, to prove you. I mean, sometimes, I mean, things that are related to ecological, like, I mean, questions are, it's like that, I mean, that relates to the ecosystems of the life forms. And Neros, it's difficult for me to prove things like, I mean, in very, like, I mean, conclusive way. But there is a lot of evidence already by many experiments, and microscopic work, and many of it is actually, I mean, documented in this channel, that magnetism is fine. I mean, for the Neros, I mean, they are fine with like magnetic environment, and they can even, not only that, they can even like probably use magnetic forces to energize themselves in ways that are not naively derivative from the Lorentz law, which is kind of like something like, I mean, this is also something that, I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, it's bordered, I mean, it touches like science fiction, but I don't have enough like hard evidence. But I mean, it was proven that they work fine, like in when they move inside magnetic fields, and not only that, they actually move more. They actually work more efficiently when they move inside magnetic fields. And in a way that perhaps can be like derived from the Lorentz law, and perhaps not. I'm not 100% certain. Anyway, they're fine with magnetism and with high voltage electrolysis. But these life forms, I mean, and again, there are many types. But it seems to me that it kills them. Like, if it's strong enough magnet, they cannot like live on it. It kills them. It kills these life forms. They are not. So if you you want the electrolysis inside the metal container with a big strong magnet in the bottom, and so this will be like, I mean, it will be so, and it was demonstrated. I mean, it's not only a theory; it was demonstrated that it shreds them. That, I mean, that it like it creates like a soup with like a pretty disgusting soup, but it was disgusting even before that. I mean, so it's better to eat a soup that is made of Neros and shredded life forms than a soup that is made of Neros and life forms, synthetic life forms. So it will be this. I mean, kind of like it creates like, I mean, kind of like shredded soup, but I would suggest that, I mean, this is like the proper way to get rid of these things. Now, there is also a way to do it with fire, and this is what I do right now. Even though it takes like a huge amount of fire, because, I mean, if it's only like, I mean, if it just burns like for an hour, like even like with turpentine and like, I mean, oil, I mean, some of the life forms are actually fine with that, because they're actually created inside of it, like the many life forms and even the insect that we've seen. But I mean, it kind of, there's a limit to like how much fire they can actually like, I mean, sustain, like how much temperature they can sustain. But this is, I'm still like, I mean, this is kind of like a new issue, and I'm still like working on it, and it's far from like being like a scientific way to how to purify like Nero mixtures from the life forms. But electrolysis should work because it was demonstrated to work. Again, should be done in a way similar to, I mean, to the setup that I was like eventually like settled on, which means metallic containers and the specific setup of the rods and magnets, but it should kill the life forms, and yes, eventually you what you get is a mixture that contains just Neros and like murky soup that contains like. Now regarding the, like, I mean, do the shredded life forms, I mean, are they dangerous? I would say no, because why should they? I mean, like, well, I mean, they are dead. I mean, it's like just like, I mean, like biological microbes, like carbon-based. When they are shredded, they are not. I mean, just like, I mean, they are shredded to molecules. So the molecules in themselves are not harmful. But it's best not to eat it from the garbage, and it's best to rescue me and my daughters from this Nazi prison. So very soon, just finish this kind of like modest lunch, and we will watch 4 samples from the aquarium. I mean, 3 from the aquarium and 1 from the dirt that was like in the like a trash. It was like in the containers that I threw to the garbage, which mostly actually it's mostly sand, and just sand like dirt, because I mean there was a sediment like layer that in the bottom, because I placed sand, also sand and like dirt and even a little bit of like clay. So I think that, and this, I mean, it became like a sediment layer in the bottom. So I've taken like a sample from it, and you can see what's inside. And it's interesting because one of the like open questions that I don't really know the answer is that, is clay a good medium for the survival of the Neros? Like, I know that they can use it like as raw material, but I don't know if it's different question. Can they survive inside, like, I mean, clay sediment or dirt sediment, which is about the same, like, chemically? So it's kind of like an interesting question. Maybe we'll have like more information after this microscopic slide.